What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mood616 here, and yes, I am back with another Top 10 Tuesday episode. This is episode 58, and before we start, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas out there, since this is the last Tuesday before Christmas, so again, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. And with that said, this is of course going to be my top 10 Christmas themed horror flicks of all time, my personal picks. Yeah, you know, I have to say that there's definitely, this holiday is the most celebrated in the horror genre. It definitely has the most themed films for the specific holiday. Most definitely, Christmas just rules for Christmas horror films, so... But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this top 10. When we get to the end of the video, I'll just, you know, mention off a few notable ones that didn't make the list and stuff like that. So let's get right into this. In at number 10, we've got Silent Night, Bloody Night, of course. This is from that Code Red double feature that came out, I don't know, a couple years ago. Honestly, this at the time was probably the best transfer I'd ever seen of Silent Night, Bloody Night. I believe it is a public domain film that just has multiple shitty transfer releases, but if you've never seen Silent Night, Bloody Night, it's really just a proto slasher type film. I do have a full review of this on my channel. A couple years back I did a 25 days of Christmas horror reviews and reviewed a different Christmas related horror film for the whole month of, well, the 25 days in December anyways, but this was one of the reviews, and I really enjoy this film. I think it's awesome. If you can get by the, you know, the shitty transfer, you're probably going to watch it on. It's a fun flick, man. It's not too bad, so I highly recommend Silent Night, Bloody Night. Check it out if you haven't. It's a good one. It's got a pretty cool story. In at number 9, we've got Saint, or Sint, however you want to pronounce it. I believe this is a film from the Netherlands. You know, I've even... you know, talk to people that have said that, you know, this most definitely is not like a Christmas film. I mean, to us over here, it totally seems like it is. Yeah, it's basically about this, you know, this bishop that was shunned out and he was murdered. And he said that, you know, upon his murder, he's going to return, you know, on his, you know, his death day and, you know, start wreaking havoc. And that's what he does. And it just so happens to be in December. I don't know. I consider this a Christmas, you know, related horror film. So of course directed by Dick Moss. Good stuff. Really awesome atmosphere, good kills in this one, really good you know, kind of Christmas setting. It just feels cold. This film feels cold. It's awesome. I love Saint. Great stuff. Check it out if you haven't. Of course, it's subtitled. It even said read on my cover. Number 8, we've got Santa Sleigh. Now this one right here, the first time I watched this movie, I literally like died laughing from the opening sequence in this film. The intro to the film basically had me in stitches. It's so funny. I won't give anything away, but it's really good. But I won't lie, when I first saw this movie was coming out and I read that Bill Goldberg was going to be playing Santa Claus in this film, I really did not have high hopes for this at all. Of course, it being a, you know, horror comedy also. But to my surprise, the opening scene caught my attention right away, and it's a fun story. It's, you know, about they make this this bet in which he loses, and it's a really fun premise. I'm not going to get into it. I have another full-length review of this one too, along with Saint also, if you're looking more into checking that one out, so you can check out the review. But fun flick, man. I love the premise of it. It was just a fun, stupid film. So. Yeah, and that was number 8. Yeah, that was number 8. All right, so number 7, we've got A Christmas Horror Story. The only one on my list that's brand new. There has been a couple Christmas horror related films out this year, and I was absolutely floored by this when I first seen this film. You know, I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't really heard too much about it, just people saying it was pretty good. But when I first read about this one coming out, it piqued my interest because it was an anthology flick, kind of in the vein of like Trick or Treat. And so that really had me intrigued. So checked it out and was really kind of floored by this one. You know, there's one or two stories that like they aren't the best in the world, but they're not bad by any means. There's nothing in this anthology that I found that was terrible or bad or anything. Just ones that were better than others. But I have to say, the way this thing wraps up is just, it's awesome. It's really worth the watch, and I highly recommend A Christmas Story. This is the only film in this top 10 list, of course, that I don't watch every year annually because it just came out, but it will be part of my my annual watches. So Christmas Horror Story, loved it. Check it out. And that was number 7, of course. And of course, in at number 6 here is Gremlins, which I actually watched with my son today for his first viewing. Just fell in love with it. He loved it so much he wanted me to pop in the sequel. So he threw in that, and then he lost interest right away, like I do with the sequel also. Love Gremlins. Don't really have to, talk about this one too much. Not really a lot I can say that hasn't been said before about it, but just a fun film, man. I love the effects, like the gremlin effects in this film. They're awesome. They're really well done. They look awesome, and Gizmo kicks ass. But yeah, great film, Gremlins. And that was number 6. And at number 5, we've got Don't Open Till Christmas. One of my favorites. I absolutely love this film. This movie had like a ton of production problems and things like that. I believe it had like 2 or 3 different directors on it or something like that. I can't remember the whole story with this one, but it definitely suffered from production problems. But it came out fun. It's really bad and cheesy, but it's just one of those films that's kind of hard not to like, especially if you like slashers. It's just about a guy who's killing off Santa Clauses. I mean, what more can you ask for? It's just blatant disregard for the holiday. It's awesome. I love it. It's got some pretty funny kills, some bad acting, all around just a really fun film from 1984. If you can get your hands on this one, it's of course released by Mondo Macabre. Check it out. It's awesome stuff. So yeah, number 5. Number 4, one of my favorites. I've never been able to get enough of this film ever since I first checked it out, and it's called Rare Exports, from like the mid 2000s or something like that. It's a Finnish film, and it's just really, really fantastic. It's got a great premise, a very, very different type film, with some really unique ideas in this one. Just interesting stuff. It even has a couple shorts that were kind of like preludes to this movie too, that are awesome, or awesome stuff. Again, I've got a full-length review of this one, so if you want to know more about it, head over to those reviews and check out the full lengths. But I couldn't stress enough that this is another film that feels super cold when you watch it. It's outdoor, it's snowy, it's cold, and it's a really strange and odd film. Love it. Really good stuff. So, Rare Exports in at number 4. Number 3, we have Silent Night, Deadly Night, of course, another film that's been talked about to death over the years. Again, I have another full-length review of this one, so if you want to know my thoughts on it, you can check it out, or we actually even review this entire franchise on the podcast, again, which you can go and hear our thoughts on it. Silent Night, Deadly Night, what can I say? It's fun cheesiness, man. It's just 80s cheese at its best. Man, there's so many good parts in this film. One of my favorite parts in this movie, though, I mean, of course, everyone watching this probably seen this movie before, so it's not really a spoiler, but is the part where the little kid is talking to the grandpa and he just turns and says something to him. Every time I see that part, it just cracks me the fuck up, man. It's so funny. But yeah, really good stuff. Fun. Silent Night, Deadly Night. In at number 3. In at number 2, we've got Christmas Evil. I absolutely fucking love this movie with a passion. I've reviewed this on my channel. We've reviewed it on the podcast also. I gave it like a 9.5 out of 10, but the more I watch this film, I should probably give it a 10 because I absolutely love this movie. I think it's just brilliant. It's it's interesting. It's one of those type of films that you can describe it to people, but you really have to see it to kind of believe it and just kind of feel it. It's just got a great story, and the story's not like overly that strong or anything, but it's an interesting story to say the least. Just about a guy that's obsessed with Christmas. And that's all I'll say about it. Christmas Evil, fantastic stuff. I will say the transfer on this Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray is awesome too. So, and that was number 2, and of course in a number 1, which is probably no surprise to anybody out there, and it's the Canadian classic Black Christmas. I think this movie has with this and The Beyond, which happens to be right behind here, probably 2 of the best endings in, to me anyways, in like cinema. In horror cinema. So, I absolutely love the way this movie ends and the way the credits roll. It's just so fantastic, but all around just a fantastic film. Great prototype slasher with some really creepy elements to it. Odd voices, hot female leads. It's just a great, great film all around. I watch this one Probably a couple times during the holidays, every year. I've already watched it once. Actually, I've watched it twice technically, because I watched this movie with one of the new commentaries on also. So, but Black Christmas, man, you can't go wrong with this. Bob Clark, awesome. Rest in peace to Bobby. He was an awesome dude. He left us way too early in a stupid ass accident. Yeah, Black Christmas. Y'all know the deal. It's awesome. So that is going to do it for the top 10. A few little notable mentions I wanted to mention was To All a Good Night, the David Hess directed film, which I do own. I think it's fun. It's not a great film by any means, but it's a decent one. Night Train Murders doesn't really have like a whole lot of Christmas feel to it until more of like the third act, but it's basically Last House on the Left on a train. If you've never seen the Night Train Murders, it takes place on Christmas. Done full-length reviews for that. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is fun. It's a terrible, terrible film, but it's really fun to watch. Jack Frost, we just did on the podcast. I've done full-length reviews for that. Also, it's a really good one. One I did on Body Bags, I believe, last year was Silent Night, Zombie Night. And to my amazement, with a title like that, I thought for sure it was going to be, a horror comedy, but it actually wasn't a horror comedy. It was actually played serious, and it took me by surprise. It was actually a pretty interesting film. Cadaver Christmas, horror comedy. Everyone knows about that one. It's fun as hell. Dead End, Cesar Nado's Deadly Christmas. More films that I reviewed on my 25 Days of Christmas horror. I was really considering doing like a top 10 or a top 12 worst Christmas horror themed films, because I have reviewed so many bad ones, and there's just so many terrible ones also to go along with these amazing, amazing ones. So it would have been kind of a nice comparison or contrast, But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm just rambling on. Like I always say, go and check out everyone else's reviews. The links will be down, or videos, the links will be down below in the description. So head over to the channels, subscribe to them, watch the videos. You guys all know the deal. Quick little roundup here. We got Silent Night, Bloody Night, Sint or Saint, Santa's Sleigh. We got A Christmas Horror Story, Gremlins, Don't Open Till Christmas, Rare Exports, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Christmas Evil, and Black Christmas, of course. And if you want to know my thoughts on Krampus, I did review this on last week's podcast. So, yeah, and I'll leave it at that. So you guys can go check out my thoughts on that one. I do explain what I liked and disliked about the film. And yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Peace out. Chars and Merry Christmas.